In today's video, I'll be covering how we increased this fashion brand's revenue by over $75,000 in less than 60 days and unveil the complete Google Ads strategy that we took to achieve that. I'll be going over why we started Google Ads with this brand, what worked, what didn't work, what kind of patterns and trends did we spot, and why do we hop on them at this time of the year, and also how you can apply these same principles to your brand and much more. If you don't know who I am, my name is Justin, and I'm the founder of paidadvertising.com, an e-commerce marketing agency specializing in elevating thriving brands by simplifying e-commerce growth. So here's the before this happened. Now you might be seeing this on screen. You're like, why am I looking at a Facebook ads manager? Aren't you said like Google? Didn't you say we were going to talk about Google in this video? Yeah, we will. But I'm defining the situation before that case study happened. So that client we've actually been working with for quite a long time with them. We've been working with them for over a year, and we've been running entirely their Facebook ads and Pinterest ads during that time period. We also dabbled a little bit with TikTok ads at some point, but nonetheless, Facebook ads have always done amazingly well. There was a bit of a dip though in middle of the summer. Now you might be looking at these results, right? 20,000 in ad spend, 96,000 purchase conversion value, 4.79, and think like, wow, this is great. Yeah, but that brand specifically has been used to having a solid like 7, 8 and being comfortable with these numbers. So you can understand it from a client relationship standpoint. When your ROAS gets slashed by half, you're trying to find solutions in order to bring this up. One of them is, since we added Google Ads as a service roughly a year and a half at the agency, we just told the client like, hey, how about we start with Google? We could try and supplement the current strategy with Google Ads. And he was like, sure, why not? We're not doing any Google Ads at all right now, so let's just go for it. So one of their main platform, again, being Meta, started to decline, and we didn't have enough creative capacity to really help with Meta at this given time period. So we started looking elsewhere in order to supplement the ad strategy. So we looked at Google because, to be honest, if you look at the reports from platforms like Northbeam as an example, about 20-25% of the ad spend of the industry is on Google. It's not that much, to be honest. So there's not as much competition. So that's one of the first things. Second thing that we also notice is, I'm going to pull up Google Trends right here. So this is one of the keywords, and they have a lot of similar keywords amongst that brand. They are a very niche fashion brand. They're based out of the UK, but they also have a big website now that they launched in the US. So we're advertising both US and the UK. Look at this. This is the interest they have over time. What would you know? Every year, summer onwards, peak, 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 all the way up to October. If you look at 2020, peak, 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 all the way up to October. Less of a peak though. Why? Because technically that peak is right around Halloween. This is a fashion brand that is not technically meant for costumes, but could be used for costumes. So we realized that when looking into the trends, we're like, every year they're peaking from the end of the summer all the way to October onwards, they're hitting a peak. So I was like, that's interesting. And you can see how big that peak was in 2021. It's still very decent in 2022. And you can see that like this year, we're slowly kind of getting up again in that trend. We're starting to kind of start this this upward trend again, hopefully all the way leading up to October. And in thus search interest across the world, it's strongest in countries like the US and like the UK, which are two of the countries we're advertising it, majoritively speaking, when it comes to ad spend. All right, this is probably going to be a very interesting time for us to get into Google Ads with that customer. So at that point, what we started doing, we asked the client, first of all, how much he was ready to spend on Google, gave us a number. We're like, all right, let's start. So if I open up Google Ads now right here, you can see that according to Google Ads, and I'll show you Triple Wall because Triple Wall is actually much lower, but nonetheless, according to Google Ads, we spent 3.6 grand, which really isn't that much in that time period, and brought $76,000 back. Client was like, this is impossible. This is such a high ROAS. If we look at it, we're at a 20.9 ROAS during that time period. He was like, look, I would love to believe this is true, but he's like, I have a hard time wrapping my head around that. Yes, new customer revenue increased by over 10%. Yes, our sales really went up, but like 20 ROAS, man, if that's true, like we need to really double down on it. So as the client wasn't certain, what we did is we ended up installing Triple Wall right about a month into running Google Ads. So now if I switch to Triple Wall right here and I go from August 23rd to September 22nd, 2023, so basically for the last 30-day period, you can see the Google Ads says 9.72 right here according to triple attribution on here. There's about 2,800 in spend and 27,000 pounds in ad revenue, which is still very decent if you look at it. New customer revenue is a little bit more than half of that. It's about 5.5. Facebook is still as healthy as it's ever been for that brand. We're at 5.65 according to triple once again. If I switch to total impact, which kind of shows you a little bit more holistically how that is distributed, if it removes also any of the overlap you would have from these platforms, Google still falls down to a very healthy 3. Facebook to a 6.3 in terms of overall ROAS, 4.3 in terms of new customer. Google is at 1.15. Why? Well, here's what's interesting, and that's something that I noticed across many different customers when I look into Google Ads. So opening up the customer journey right here, if I look at Facebook on Triple Wall, the two most likely pathways. So let's say I look at Facebook. What happens after somebody sees a Facebook ad? Well, there's 148 people that went straight to a purchase. And now looking into patterns, if I look at these patterns right here, one of the most kind of common patterns I spot amongst brands is that where essentially a lot of people would come from Facebook first, some would go straight to purchase, and another big portion would go straight to Google, which you can see here by how thick essentially the performance lines are. So that's that. We also saw that, again, that was a commonality. Now, if I go back on Triple Wall and go to my summary, go to Lighthouse right here, and I compare, let's just say last, actually 90 days wouldn't work, but if I go to last 30 days, there you go. Look at the Pearson correlation between Facebook ad spend and Google ROAS. It's 0.75. That is one of the metrics I love the most about Triple Wall. It shows you basically how close or how there is a relation or no relation between two metrics of your business. You could put any two metrics and benchmark them against each other right here. So I could put like Facebook ad spend as an example and like Amazon revenue if I had it. And then the closer it gets to 0, then the closer it is to having no correlation at all. And then the closer it gets to -1, the closer it is to actually be a polar opposite. So if I increase Facebook spend by 10%, Google ROAS would have gone down by 10% as an example. For that client, it's 0.75, which is a very big correlation, which means if we increase the Facebook ad spend roughly by, let's just say $100, we'll probably have $75 in additional conversion value coming through Google, which is again very decent. Which what that means overall is that we know that one, Google Ads has now been picking up a lot of the conversions that were missed by Facebook. And number two, as shown here by the keywords that we have earlier, you can see that there's essentially here at the top one keyword that got most of the ad spend and is crushing it. That keyword is the same one I showed you here in the trends. It's a keyword popping off at this time of the year. Nonetheless, you can see there's also a few more keywords that got a decent amount of spend right here and not to be neglected at all. Like a 2.9 is still not bad at all for this one. 7.05 is actually very good. Very, very healthy once again. And if I benchmark the top performing keyword with essentially the third best performing one, which technically arguably in my book would be the second best performing keyword, or actually it is. I think it's just because of the filters that I have, because I was like, yeah, it spent more and did better ROAS. So yeah, this would be basically a close second. So would this one actually. But if I benchmark them together, you can see the trends are incredibly similar overall, which just goes to show once again that looking through that, you can see a clear trend, an uptrend more specifically at this very time of the year, every single year. Now, what is the strategy in general? I've just showed you kind of the trends right here. The strategy was very simple. It's literally, this is all coming from one search campaign and not a branded search. In fact, we even have exclusions set up right here to not overlap with any of our branded keywords at all. This is, again, focusing majoritively on new keywords. You could look at Triple Wall. I showed it to you earlier. If I go back right here and I go back to triple attribution overall, so let me just switch to my triple attribution for this time period. You can see about half still is new customers, which is very decent overall, which just goes to show you, yes, there are returning customers that just come across the brand through these keywords. Nonetheless, those keywords in general, we're targeting, again, newer eyeballs. We're excluding properly our branded keywords. This is not factoring in at all. Like I'm excluding any branded search campaigns right now. In fact, the client didn't even want to run branded search campaigns right here. We don't even have brand protection campaigns also as of right now. And shopping hasn't even been set up yet. We're in the midst right now of setting up shopping. We just wanted to hop on this opportunity fast when we saw the trend in these keywords, and we did so essentially in a timely manner, and we're able to launch a campaign that, let's just call it a success, honestly, at this point. And I think this is something that is most often underlooked by a lot of brands. I see a lot of people boasting about Facebook ads results or TikTok ads results. You have a lot of high intent customers that are awaiting to purchase and can be found through running effective Google ads. That is something that, again, we're doing a better job now at educating your customers, but also offering it to our customers at the agency. That's been something that, traditionally speaking, we've been pushing a lot about Meta, because it's like acquisition, top of funnel acquisition. But so many people in the range of brand sizes that we handle, typically looking at the ad spend at the agency, we handle between $10,000 a month on the low end. Sometimes we'll have like $5,000 a month budgets, but it's like this is one of our lower end budget clients. And on the high end, we'll have like $15,000, $20,000 a day. So looking through that, if you look at all of these clients and where they're at in their respective journeys, a lot of them neglect Google. And I think for a lot of starting store, smaller brands that are up and coming, starting to thrive, starting to get traction, Google Ads is actually a very good service and solution to integrate within your brand. So how would I go about this process if I was you watching this video? First of all, I would do, like, if you don't want to pay for any of these softwares out there to do keyword research like Ahrefs or any of these softwares, you can go just through Google Trends, honestly, and search up keywords related to your brands. Also go with long tail keywords and try and see if there's any trends that you can spot right now that would be good for you to hop into. So that is kind of what we did initially for this customer. And then from there, what I again simply did is run a Google search ad campaign. We have right here 10 keywords that are being targeted. We're trying to cycle through different keywords as of right now and see which ones are the best. So as you can see right now, there's only 10 keywords that are being active on that campaign. We're constantly trying to test more of these keywords and finding kind of the best ones for this brand. Set up your exclusions properly. Make sure you're not overlapping with branded search, because that would be quite awful. You think those campaigns are working great, but then when you start looking into it, you're like, oh fuck, this was all branded search actually that just got through this campaign. And with that said, at the time of recording this video, we just opened up a whole new plan at the agency. So over the last year, we've actually neglected a lot the smaller brands. We were a growing business. We had a lot of customer demand, and we started increasing our prices primarily for paid social, considering we had to deliver a lot of UGC and content. But when it comes to Google, we now launched a plan called the Prime Plan, where if it's businesses spending less than 5K a month, we have a plan to help you get going through Google Ads. And we also have plans already in place to help businesses spending more than 5K a month on Google Ads. So if that is something of any interest to you, book in a call down below for a free audit of your entire current paid advertising strategy, or also get a possible marketing plan that our team would build for your brand. And with that being said, as always, we also have our free school community linked down below that has over 20 hours of free content for you e-commerce brand owners and marketers to help you make better ads. On that note, I'm going to wish you an amazing day. Make sure to watch other videos on the channel for some more useful e-commerce marketing tips, and I'll see you in next video. Peace.